Self-love doesn't announce itself. It doesn't arrive as a breakthrough moment or a sudden realization. More often, it settles in slowly through small decisions, quiet adjustments, and a growing willingness to listen inward instead of outward. This is a story about that kind of self-love, the kind that doesn't ask to be seen, but steadily reshapes a life. Amy didn't always move through her days with ease. There was a time when she measured herself constantly against other people's timelines, expectations, and definitions of success. She used to wake up already behind, already planning how to catch up. But over time, something shifted. Something changed. Not all at once. Not suddenly. It happened in moments she barely noticed at first. Amy began to pay attention to how certain choices made her feel afterward. Not how they looked, not how they sounded when explained, but how they settled inside her once the moment passed. She noticed how exhaustion lingered when she said yes out of obligation, how resentment quietly built when she ignored her own needs, how relief followed when she allowed herself to stop. So she started listening. Her mornings became slower, not because she had fewer responsibilities, but because she stopped forcing herself into urgency that didn't serve her. She learned that rushing didn't make her more capable. It only made her disconnected. She took her time getting ready, letting herself ease into the day instead of bracing for it. Some mornings were quiet. Others were thoughtful. None of them were wasted. Amy learned to work with her energy instead of against it. When she felt focused, she leaned into it. When she felt tired, she adjusted without guilt. She stopped treating rest as something that had to be earned. There were days she accomplished less than she planned. And instead of criticizing herself, she asked, why? Sometimes the answer was simple. She needed space. Sometimes it was emotional weight she hadn't acknowledged yet. Either way, she responded with care instead of pressure. Her relationships changed as well. Amy didn't withdraw from people, but she stopped overextending herself to maintain harmony. She no longer filled silences just to avoid discomfort. She allowed conversations to unfold naturally without forcing closeness where it didn't exist. When someone misunderstood her boundaries, she didn't rush to correct the narrative. She trusted that clarity didn't always need explanation. Some people adjusted. Some drifted. Amy let both happen. She spent more time alone, not because she felt isolated, but because she had learned how to enjoy her own presence. Evenings became restoring instead of distracting. She read, she reflected, she let her thoughts settle without immediately responding to them. She didn't escape discomfort. She gave it room. Amy learned that self-love didn't mean constant confidence. There were still moments of doubt, still moments when old habits tried to resurface. But now she noticed sooner. Instead of spiraling, she paused. Instead of pushing through, she checked in. She asked herself questions without judgment. What do I need right now? What feels honest in this moment? What would it look like to choose myself here? Some days, the answer was action. Other days, it was rest. Sometimes, it was simply allowing the day to be unfinished. Amy no longer needed to prove her worth through productivity or performance. She understood that her value wasn't something she had to reinforce. It was something she could honor. At night, she reflected gently. Meditate. Not to critique the day, but to understand it. She noticed what drained her and what restored her. She acknowledged moments where she listened to herself and moments where she didn't. And instead of turning that awareness into self-judgment, she treated it as information. Tomorrow was always another chance. Self-love isn't about perfection or certainty. It's about attention. It's about choosing alignment over approval. It's about returning to yourself, even after you drift. It doesn't demand transformation. It invites honesty. When you stop forgetting your needs to meet expectations, something steadier begins to form. A relationship with yourself that isn't conditional. And that kind of relationship doesn't require constant effort. It grows through consistency and care. Self-love lives in the quiet choices, the pauses, meditations, the moments where you decide not to push past yourself. Together, let's move from doubt to power, one story at a time.